everyone. Welcome to the Galactic Burrito, recording right at a DJ's Cantina, right smack dab in the middle of Tatooine. I'm your host, Darien Henderson. And today I'm joined by the guest from last week, Landon. Welcome back.
Hello there. Welcome back.
I was wrong. Not last week. Sorry. It was a few weeks ago. We did have some issues pop up over the weekends, and we decided to push back the episode.
Yes.
But we're here, and we're going to review all of Obi-Wan. But before we do, I can't forget, because I almost did last time, but I caught myself. But we're also joined by a good pal of mine, my droid CB-7. Say hello, CB. All right, and let's go ahead and get into Obi-Wan Kenobi, I guess. So last episode we reviewed episodes 1 and 2 of because they released on the same day. Now we're going to review the rest of the show, so 3 through 6. And now it's going to take me a minute to just remember everything happened in like the old episodes 3 and 4. So what we left off on 2 was what was it? I really don't remember. I remember.
Wait. But you left off?
Yeah.
Well, I left off of them going off on the ship, and Obi-Wan was like,
"That's right." Vader was at the end.
Yes.
Yes. And then 3, like, if I'm wrong, the very beginning of it, we get more Vader, right?
Yes.
And listen, they could give me a whole Darth Vader show, and I'd be loving every second of it. Every moment he was on screen, I was just like, so happy.
I heard Christensen say he would be on board or something like that.
I tell you, I hope so. That was just having Vader back was a treat. This was like Prime Vader too. This is like
OP Vader.
You saw in episode 5 the ship landed and the dude was like ripping it apart.
Oh, yeah.
That was some Force Unleashed stuff.
I did exactly.
Yeah, that was great. Let me just check. Let me click on this. So like episode 3 was them on the I forget the planet name, but they're hiding out and they meet this Imperial officer lady, and they go. Her name was Tala. That was it. And they are hiding out in this place and trying to wait for a transport to get to Alderaan.
Yeah. And
well, again, a lot of people are not happy with some aspects of the show. A lot of them were involving Reva, and a lot of people were some of that hate. I mean, I can get some of the story was a little strange, but like they hate her character because of the color of her skin. Which
it's not okay, but you know,
yeah.
It's like
I actually haven't heard anybody say anything about not liking Leia in the show. I think that was one I enjoyed that aspect of the show. I thought she did really well as young Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Because we never really got to see Leia other than in like her as an adult and older.
It is
and the baby, but
the girl who plays her, she is so good. It's pretty talented for an actress that young.
Yeah. Completely. I feel like it completely embodies Princess Leia. Like I could watch that and be like, yeah, that's how she'd act.
Yeah, exactly.
But episode 3, they're there. Now when this had come out, this was my favorite episode so far.
Mm-hmm.
And when Vader shows up with the Inquisitors on that planet, he's walking down the street and he drags that one lady and picks up that guy out of his house, and the sun runs out and he just snaps his neck.
Oh no!
Gosh, Lord, guy's a menace.
Our man's pissed.
And let's see. So he goes and he senses Obi-Wan. He's trying to lure Obi-Wan out. That's the whole point. And Obi-Wan runs away, and Vader senses him. He does this to distract Vader away from Tala and Leia. And Leia does not like the fact that Obi-Wan is going out like by himself to try to stop Vader. And she thinks that Tala needs to help her, which does come into play later on. But then you get to this really cool scene, which is like literally just a tease about what you get in the final episode, where Obi-Wan's running. And he's trying to get away from Vader, and he runs up and stops, and Vader is standing there. and he ignites his lightsaber. And this whole part, this like got me so excited. I guess it's because like I don't know. This is the first time that Vader and like Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan and Vader being in a scene together.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah, really good. I mean, you feel it too. It's like, oh yeah, this is like a good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to describe it. It's really thrilling to see him.
It's like watching my childhood play out before my eyes.
Especially when you see when you see them trying to like that battle,
mm-hmm.
like for the flashback. Oh, it's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah. But Obi-Wan gets in. It's like a small lightsaber fight. He's really not that good with his lightsaber right now, and he's still weak.
Yeah.
And Vader is just relentlessly going after him. And I like the line where Obi-Wan says, "What have you become?" And he goes, "I am what you made me."
I am what you made me.
Which, did you know they did not get any new lines from James Earl Jones?
Yeah, they put it in like a robot or like a voice thing.
Yeah, like what's what they did with Luke and Boba Fett.
Yeah. Oh, you mean Mandalorian?
No, and Boba Fett. He was in Boba Fett.
He was in Boba Fett. Golly, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
You see the training scenes with him and Grogu.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Episode 3 though, they fight and Obi-Wan gets burned eventually by Vader. He drags him to these like burnt coals or whatever they were.
Yeah.
And Tala saves leaves Leia at one point and comes to save Obi-Wan. They get there with this robot that was helping them earlier and save Obi-Wan. They get him out of there even though it's all burned up. Leia is on her way through the tunnel and Reva is back at the entrance of it, and she finds the tunnel and I don't know how she gets to the end of it. I'm just going to ask movie magic, I guess.
Movie magic.
Yeah. So she ends up at the end of it, Leia runs into her, and Leia gets kidnapped. And that was how episode 3 ended, which was a big cliffhanger. I was like, but then episode 4 comes, and a lot of people have a problem with this episode, and I can get where they're coming from. But I did like a lot of aspects of this episode, which was where they had to go save Leia from the Fortress Inquisitorius.
Oh yeah.
The main problem people had with this episode was that it's basically the plot of the first 2 episodes, just like in one episode. Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
Which I get why they did it. That he had to. There were points in this episode where you had to advance the storyline. There was some important stuff that had happened, but I guess they needed a way to do it, so they decided like, oh, Leia's getting kidnapped again.
Yeah. I mean, episode 3. I mean, it was okay.
Yeah.
Hey, it was cool. Though.
Let's see. Episode 4, you meet. He's healing in the back to tank, and you get some scenes of Vader. You get a lot of scenes of Vader in this episode. At least towards the beginning of it, and then at the end as well. But Obi-Wan meets all of Tala's people. There's I can't remember the name of Roken is the name of the guy that you meet, and he's a big character in the last 2 episodes as well. Yeah,
very, very, very huge character.
But they are going to go to the fortress and save Leia. They're on the way. Tala goes with them, and she sneaks in there as an Imperial officer and does her thing. Well, he's sneaking through as well. He went from underwater to get in there. And so they're all looking for Leia, and Reva's interrogating Leia as is this happening, and tells her like, "Oh, Obi-Wan's dead, so you have nothing left to protect." And which obviously is not the case. And then let's see. I'm gonna kind of skip around in this episode because really not much important has happened. It was a very like intense episode. I can't say though that the music of this show is great. Like the theme was recorded by John Williams.
Yeah, of course.
But the rest of the show was done by Natalie Holt, who did the music for Loki. And I really enjoyed it. The Empire, like every time you go somewhere where the Empire is in the show, their like theme song plays. That was really good. But let's see. I'm gonna skip ahead right here. Obi-Wan gets to this point where he has to go down this hallway, and there are like these windows in the hallway, and it's a bunch of bodies in the windows. It's a tomb of Jedi that have been killed by the Empire, I assume, just buried there. And at the end of it was a child. She really realized that, oh, they are going to kill Leia. And and Leia's there. I thought she was getting turned into an Inquisitor. I was like, she's like 7.
No,
and I was like, oh, they're trying to kill her.
yeah, that went insane.
But Obi-Wan gets in there. There's a cool scene where Reva is Tala causes a distraction for Reva to leave, and Obi-Wan shows up and he turns the lights off. You see his lightsaber ignite, and he takes out one of the stormtroopers, and then the other one's like freaking out, and you see his lightsaber on the other side take out the other one. And this episode is where he gets his power back, I think.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, you see, when he gets Leia, and he's walking, walking her down the hallway to try to meet up with Tala, and all the Purge troopers, I think they're called, and the other stormtroopers show up and are like blasting at him and stuff, and they hit the window and it cracks. He's sitting here. He fights a bunch of them, and he does this cool pose at the end of it, and then he holds back the water from the window. The dude's holding the like full force and pressure of the ocean with the force while he's blocking bullets with his other hand.
That's how OP he is, man. It's insane.
And he pushes the water towards all them and drowns them, and he gets out of there. While they're leaving, okay, this is stupid. Right. He puts on a trench coat, and Leia is underneath the trench coat, and he's trying to escape. And I'm like, there's no way. That was the most. I just thought it was the stupidest disguise.
Oh yeah, very, very stupid.
Any stormtroopers are stupid anyway, but they can just look at them and think, hey, there are 4 legs right there.
Yeah, these people look very suspicious. Yeah. I don't know, like, because I mean, I don't know, it's Star Wars, so I guess you can be a shape of anything. Mm-hmm. But there's a caveat here where it's clearly in disguise.
That's true. But they're trying to leave, get to the ship. Reva shows up, and they're getting ready to kill. They're trying to kill them, and then Tala's people, the ships, show up. It was Wade and some other girl. I don't know her name. They show up and they start blasting, and Obi-Wan and them get to the ship, and they fly off. Reva runs up, and another one of the ships, I think the guy Wade was driving it, he goes to fly off, and Reva picks up a container, I guess explosive, throws at him, kills him.
Yeah.
And then the end of the episode, you get to see Obi-Wan and Leia. They're on this transport ship, and they're going somewhere. I don't remember where. I think back to that base. And then cut to Darth Vader.
Yeah.
This is my favorite scene of this whole episode. Dude's mad. Marching down the hallway, and he picks up Reva and he says, "I warned you what defeat would bring." And I said this at the beginning, but I'll just take all the Darth Vader I can get.
Yeah, yeah. Like Darth Vader out, like literally in like shows and like showing spin-offs.
Yeah.
He's insane. He's Force Unleashed. Obi-Wan, dang, Rogue One. Like he is. Yeah. He's crazy.
From the end of Revenge of the Sith, when he first becomes Darth Vader, up into A New Hope is where he's the strongest. I think is what the way it goes. But Reva's like, I put a tracker on the ship, and he lets her down, and I find out the tracker is Lola, the little robot. And I think that was all. That was the end of episode 4.
Yes, that was.
Episode 5 is where it starts to heat up. This was my favorite episode until the finale.
Oh yeah,
but it opens up immediately, like with a 10 out of 10, because I got to see Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker again in a flashback.
I know, it's great.
And I just want to point out, he is staring off at a big building in the background, and that building is where Padme lives.
Oh yeah,
which is was a cool little detail there.
Liar.
But they're having a little sparring competition. It's cool. It's a cool thing. Obviously, I loved it. But that man is definitely not like 20 years old. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. They used de-aging or not? I mean, no. It didn't look like they did. Yeah,
they didn't. But I was fine with it because I was watching.
I mean, I think it's more of an appreciation rather than like. I mean, I hope they didn't think like, oh yeah, people are gonna believe he still looks good at the same age and everything, because it's obviously. I mean, it's super obvious. Like not, he doesn't look how he used to in the movies, but I hope it's. But I mean, it's more an appreciation out of anything. It's all like, I like.
I'm telling you though, as soon as I saw that little ponytail, I was like, oh.
Oh yeah,
what's happening?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Almost did. You were with me when I was watching this episode. We were in Atlanta.
Oh, we were, yes. Like literally, you're in like the opening. You're like, oh, like you sound like John. I was like, oh my god.
This episode's good. It's they put a tracker on the ship. That happened in the last episode. We found out about the tracker, and they found where Obi-Wan and them are, and they're going there to get Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan and everybody, they're getting ready for this assault on them. And let's see. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and we get to the important stuff. They show up. Reva shows up. And she's also named Grand Inquisitor in this episode.
Yeah.
And she shows up with a whole army of stormtroopers. They're trying to break down this door. Meanwhile, all the good guys are trying to open the hangar door on the ceiling to get the ship out so they can leave. But it won't open. And so they send Leia up to the little vent area to fix it. It turns out Lola, because she's being controlled by the Empire or whatever, went up there and messed up something. And so that's why the door wouldn't open. But eventually it gets to the point where the door is close to like breaking down. And Obi-Wan says that he wants to talk with Reva. And he goes up to Reva, and this is when you find out that Reva was one of the younglings that Anakin, even though he stabbed her, it showed in the thing, but she's still alive. She gets stabbed so many times. So many characters get stabbed and they come back. And I saw a thing that was like, it happened to Reva. It happened to the Grand Inquisitor. But like Qui-Gon's over there. Like got stabbed once and he's out of the game.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I saw that kind of a mile away. I think I was like one of the obvious parts of the show of her being a youngling at one point. But you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. Was it obvious for you or did you?
I suspected it. Either that or she, I guess she had to have been a young.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, oh, she really wants to see Obi-Wan. It's like, okay. Yeah,
she feels like Obi-Wan wasn't there to protect her. And she's actually, even though she works for the Empire, she's there. She wants to kill Vader. And that plays out in a little bit. Vader shows up. And, I think he shows up after Obi-Wan turns himself in.
Yes.
And that happens after Tala dies. She gets shot, and the other robot too that was there helping died. She blew up the whole place before they could get to Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan decides to go distract them by turning himself in, and then that'll bring Vader to him. But really, he tells Reva that he's bringing him to her, and so she can kill him. And Obi-Wan escapes. Eventually, is running away, and Vader shows up. He's chasing him down. He gets on the ship and flies off. Vader walks in, grabs the ship. This is some Force Unleashed stuff. Grabs the ship and pulls it back down, and then starts ripping it to pieces. And then he sees through the windows of the other side of it that wasn't the real ship; it was another one. And if Vader were smart, he would have just reached up and grabbed that ship, but he didn't.
Yeah, I don't know why he did it. I feel like more juice in them.
Yeah. Well, hey, you had Force Unleashed. You only had that Force meter, and once it was down, you couldn't do anything else. You had to wait.
Dang Vader, that thing fully maxed out. I promise you.
That's true. But
by the way, if they are making, if Starkiller is going to be in Fallen Jedi, or Jedi Awaken, isn't that what it's called?
Jedi Survivor.
Jedi Survivor. They need to make a remaster of 1 and 2 and bring them together.
Yeah. I have some news pertaining to Starkiller, but I'll talk about that later.
Awesome.
That's okay, but Vader's mad. Dude's mad.
Oh yeah.
Reva sneak.
Vader not pissed off.
I know. He just wants Obi-Wan and he just can't get him. This guy's Reva.
I'm mad because I can't get Ian McGregor.
That's true. But Reva starts sneaking up on Vader. Vader catches a mile away. I can already tell you that. She swings it, cuts on her lightsaber before she swings. I would have held it up to him and then cut it on, so it stabbed straight through him. But no, he heard it first, and then he just stands there and it stops, and he turns around, and I'm like, she's gonna die. That was the most menacing part of Darth Vader in that episode, was just him turning around to look at her.
Oh no! I mean, it's Vader.
This is the dude that Doctor Doom was based off of.
Yeah, he is Doctor Doom.
Yeah,
practically.
But they get a lightsaber fight. Vader's just playing with her the whole time. He's not even trying. And at one point, he catches her lightsaber and cuts breaks it apart the way it can, and throws the other side down at her. Come on, that was just Vader's just cocky at this point. And
I think that's pretty cool sometimes, because I like seeing Vader like that sometimes, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it just shows that actually it really is Anakin, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they get in a fight. He gets the lightsaber back and she falls on her knees. I swear he was about to Count Dooku her, is what I thought. Because he was walking up with the lightsabers crossed, and he turned one of them off and threw it down. I was like, oh. I swear she was about to get her head cut off, but she didn't. Let's see what happens right after that. She's having flashbacks of Anakin marching on the Jedi Temple, which is awesome, by the way. I love those scenes. He's walking with I think they call the 501st Legion.
Yeah.
To the killing all the kids. And it shows him stabbing her when she was a kid, and then stabbing her in present time. And he's there, and he was like, "Did you really think I didn't see it, youngling?"
Oh yeah.
And then this shocked me, but it didn't shock you from what I remember you saying. Even though I knew I thought they weren't going to bring him back, and that they were going to do some kind of retcon or something and make fans mad, but they didn't. Because Grand Inquisitor had been killed, but he comes back in this, and I can't remember what he said to her, but he right before he leaves, he goes, "Goodbye, Grand Inquisitor," and he puts the little badge back on him and walks away, which I did like. I was happy he's back. And then she finds Obi-Wan's little communication device was dropped on the ground by Haja, which was Kumail Nanjiani's character from the second episode.
Yeah.
She picks up, and there's the message that was played earlier in the episode by Bail Organa. That's who it was, Leia's dad. And it's saying that I want to go to Tatooine, find Owen, I'm going to help the boy. Now she knows about Luke, and she's going to go after Luke, and that's where the episode 5 is.
Oh, yeah.
Now, episode 6. Oh, boy. This is the finale. It's the big ending episode. Empire, they're just wailing down on this ship. And Obi-Wan tries to talk to Qui-Gon one last time. It doesn't work. And so he gets up and he says, "All right, I'm going to take the escape pod. I'm going to go." He said, "Hopefully Vader just follows me. He'll leave you guys alone." And that does end up happening.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know the name of the planet they land on, but it's this rocky planet. So Obi-Wan is there waiting. Vader shows up. He comes out, and it's a standoff. And this whole episode, I was just so happy. He says, do you think you're going to destroy me, Obi-Wan? And Obi-Wan says, I'll do what I must. Which, if you're a diehard Star Wars fan, that is the line that he said in Revenge of the Sith to Anakin right before they fought.
Yeah.
And then Vader was like, then you will die. Which kind of is like the line that Anakin says back to Obi-Wan, because he says, you will try. I have the whole fight scene like dialogue memorized, so that's why I know.
And of course you do.
Yeah, because that's the best scene in all of Star Wars, I can argue.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty good. The best scene.
Let's see here.
Pod racing's where it's at, Darien.
Now this is pod racing.
Oh, this. Oh my god.
So Obi-Wan and Vader fight, and this is like I'm telling you, this is the most epic fight in music. I was so happy. This is like Anakin Obi-Wan round 2, but that last time was just a little warm up, little tease.
Oh yeah.
In episode was it 3?
Yeah.
And so they're fighting. Reva is going after Luke, and it gets pretty crazy. I'm more focused on the Obi-Wan part. They're beating each other down, all this stuff. Obi-Wan's getting punched in the face, and he gets thrown down into the ground, and rocks piled on top of him. And and Vader goes, "Did you really think you could defeat me, Master?" And which that was like Anakin talking right there. That was completely. But Reva is still also looking for Luke. Luke escapes, is running away in the desert, and Reva's going after him. Back to Obi-Wan. He thinks about Leia and Luke, and he's like, I gotta save them. So he breaks the rocks apart and jumps up, goes back after Vader, and they're fighting. He force pushes Vader. This is when I got like excited. He pushed Vader, and Vader went flying back, and Obi-Wan lifts all these rocks. I was like, I was so happy. He starts wailing, throwing these rocks over at Vader, and yeah. And Vader's like getting beat down. We have never seen Vader like getting beat like this.
Oh yeah.
And he comes back at Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan starts smashing the like mechanical parts of his suit, breaking his chest plate. You can hear his breathing is getting all messed up, and he's messing him up. I was loving it. And then he comes and swings down and cuts part of his mask off, and then it's a moment of silence. Vader's breathing, and he looks up, and you see the burnt side of Hayden Christensen's face. And this scene, and I will say this, and I would, but it made me tear up. This scene,
of course, it did.
Listen,
big old crybaby.
Listen, no.
Sensitive.
Whenever, when I first watched Revenge of the Sith, I cried. Whenever Anakin and Obi-Wan were fighting, the whole ending part, I cried.
Okay.
Well, not the whole fight, but like the ending of it when he was like, "You're my brother." All this stuff.
Did it make you wish you had a brother?
No.
That you could fight?
But
I guess. I don't
know. But he looks up and he goes, "Anakin," and it says, "Anakin is gone. I am what remains," or something. I liked it because it was Hayden Christensen's voice, and then it would like turn to James Earl Jones. You would hear that Vader voice sneak in there.
Oh yeah.
And then Obi-Wan says, I'm sorry, Anakin, for everything." And he's crying. He's like bawling. Yeah. And Obi-Wan looks up and he says, "You didn't kill Anakin Skywalker. I did." And then he said, "Just like I will destroy you." And Obi-Wan says, "When my friend is truly gone." And he turns around and goes, "Goodbye, Darth." And he leaves. And Darth Vader's mad again, screaming, "Obi-Wan!" And
don't leave me.
Yeah.
Don't leave me here.
But Obi-Wan leaves. He gets the feeling while he's leaving that something's wrong with Luke. Luke gets knocked out, and Reva's getting ready to kill him.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan shows up just in the nick of time, but then Reva walks in holding Luke's body, and it's meant to show like, oh, is Luke dead? Like, even though we all know like he's not.
Yeah. Luke, he reminds me of Ghost. Who was it? The I wonder who made that post, but they said Luke Skywalker could possibly die.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Like, oh my god! Spoiler. They knew it. What?
Oh my gosh! But she lays his body down. He's fine, obviously. And Obi-Wan talks to Reva, and she's upset. And she says she failed. I thought she said she failed him. Talking about Vader, she says I failed them, which is talking about the younglings that were killed. She was trying to avenge them. And she kind of redeems herself a little bit. And Obi-Wan it shows Alderaan again. Leia's back home with her family. She puts on the holster. I thought that was cute. Obi-Wan shows up and gives her Lola and tells her that all the stuff about her. She's like, you are compassionate, caring, and forthright, and these are qualities from your mother. And talking and says something about qualities from Anakin too.
Yeah. And
then he leaves, and then he's back at his cave. He packs everything up and he goes out. He goes to talk to Owen. And after that whole talk, Owen is like, do you want to meet him? And Obi-Wan gets to go meet Luke for the very first time, gives him the little toy that he has in episode 4 of the movies. And he walks up to him, and this made me happy. I was so happy when this happened. He walks up, and like it's like a moment where he's just sitting there looking at him, smiling. He goes, "Hello there," and then I was like, "Yes."
He gives like a little.
That's so great. I love it. And then he gets back on his weird camel horse thing, and is riding off. And you see a shot of a canyon. And this is like maybe equally as happy. And you see this Force ghost, start to appear. He turns around. It's Liam Neeson, Qui-Gon Jinn. And this, I knew he would show up at some point because he would have had to.
He had to.
But I was so happy.
Yeah, I know you were really hoping Mace Windu.
Well, I'm still holding out hope for one day he'll show back up.
One day, I think we're going to get it.
I think so too. Samuel Jackson thinks so as well. I did skip a scene. I thought this is a kind of not big, but sort of Vader's in his castle, and he's talking to the Emperor. We see Ian McDiarmid come back, looking more like he does in the original trilogy than he did at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah.
But Vader's like, no, Kenobi means nothing to me. You are my master. And then you hear the Imperial March play, which I was like, finally. We had a conversation in civics class, and our teacher told us that he said there's no shot that song shows up in the show. And so I had every right in my mind to message him and tell him, boom. And he would have been like, what are you talking about? Who are you?
It's such a terrible bet. All this stuff has to be in there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the scene ends though with Liam Neeson's Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan riding off into the canyon, and then that was it. And that was Obi-Wan.
It was pretty decent show. I'd say decent. I think decent, but I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it as well. I enjoyed it more than other people enjoyed it. Just because it's Obi-Wan, and that was always I was diehard Obi-Wan fan always.
Always played with the Lego games, I presume.
Yes, definitely that and Darth Vader.
Oh, yeah.
So this was great. But let's go ahead and I don't know. Do you want to rate this episode? No, do you want to rate this episode, or just rate the whole series in general?
I'd rather rate the whole series. I mean, because this episode was like a good 9. Yeah,
I can say 9.5. I'd say 9.5.
9.5. Okay.
Just because I wanted that Vader Obi-Wan fight to be longer.
More. Well, I mean, didn't I say they're going to season 2?
Well, yes, they are supposed to be doing they said if the fans want it, then they'll do it, is what Kathleen Kennedy said, which, I mean, I think the fans do want it, so.
Yeah, I mean, I assume they do. No, I mean, this show's getting pretty good feedback, even for Star Wars fans and super fans and everything, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and rate it. What would you rate Obi-Wan Kenobi out of 10? Whole series.
An 8. If not 7.5, the lowest, or an 8.
I can agree with an 8.
8. Okay.
So it's an 8. I'm going to basically say it's an 8 all around, basically, around it. So there we go. That was Obi-Wan Kenobi, very first review on the Galactic Burrito. I have one other piece of news left. Let me go ahead and end this off. But first, I need to ask the droid what he thought of the show. What did you think, CB? Well, that is the worst review I have ever heard in my life. A 2 out of 10. Are you crazy?
That's insane.
I mean, you say it's because you think Lola, the little robot, was the worst actor in the show. Well, she didn't even talk. Well, to you, maybe she did, but I don't know.
Everyone's a critic.
Everyone. You're always a critic, CB. Go over there. Yeah. Leave. Goodbye. Okay. I got a couple pieces of news here before we end this off. This is technically a rumor, but it's being thrown around everywhere. So, have you heard who is getting their own Disney Plus show?
I heard freaking Cal is, right?
Yep. So Cal Kestis, portrayed by Cameron Monaghan, who played the Joker in Gotham, made a Star Wars debut in 2019, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a Respawn Entertainment developed video game released for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Fallen Order immediately hooked fans with its protagonist, enough so that many have wondered when the character would make a jump to live action. It seems that is coming soon. Star Wars Newsnet via Star Wars insider Christian Harloff reported that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order protagonist Cal Kestis will be getting his own streaming series on Disney Plus. Following in the footsteps of Din Djarin, Boba Fett, and most recently Obi-Wan Kenobi, Cameron Monaghan's Jedi seems to be headed for his own live-action project on the streaming platform. Harloff said that he had heard the information from, quote, someone he's trusted in the past, but nothing was 100% confirmed. He said there's no production date set, but my source tells me that this is happening.
I think it'd be stupid for them not to. I mean, I think that'll be a quick.
We're going to get some live action BD1.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice.
We already got a BD droid in Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And now we're going to get him in this. So, yeah, that is one of the rumors going around. This next thing is not a rumor, but is a wish by an actor. Let's see here. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it. All right. So Sam Witwer, the name that gives all Star Wars fans excitement.
Yeah.
And they hear it, they're like, ooh, Starkiller. He has expressed interest in wanting to star in his own Disney Plus show.
Starkiller?
Yes.
All right. Interesting.
Would it happen? Not sure. I don't think many people are aware of his character besides like video game players.
Yeah. I mean, I hate it because those games are not on current gen consoles currently. I think besides unless you have like a Xbox with like backwards compatibility. Wait, you know what? They are. Excuse me, my brother just threw something at me. Where was that? But you can somewhat play these games on current gen with Xbox backwards compatibility. And is it on Game Pass or no?
Not sure.
Okay, but I do know if you have a PlayStation Now or like the new PlayStation Plus subscription service, you can play both 1 and 2 of Force Unleashed. Huh. And if you're a Star Wars fan or just love like God of War, like classic God of War, I wasn't even a Star Wars fan, and I love those games, so I recommend them to anyone. Yeah,
yeah, they're really good. I was looking to see if there's any more news. We talked about this show last episode, and how it was one of the things that was revealed. The Lego Star Wars Summer Special, or what was it called? Summer Vacation.
Probably reveal some photos for it.
They put out a trailer for it.
Yeah.
And so I just thought I'd mention that if anyone's excited for that.
Yes.
But that is everything to do with Star Wars that's happened over the last couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
That was
I'm sure more exciting Star Wars news is coming in the future. And expect here at the Galactic Burrito to cover it all.
Yep. It may be a while until we have our next episode because Star Wars news is not as popping as Marvel and DC.
I know.
So it could be about a month until we see each other again. Never know.
Lord. I mean, it could be a good while.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's everything. So we can go ahead and get ready to end this up.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, that'll do it for another episode of the Galactic Burrito. We talked about Obi-Wan. We talked some news. Not much news. We did want to put out a thank you to Landon for joining me for the review of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Of course.
Yep. And you are welcome back in DJ's Cantina anytime.
Awesome.
We'll go ahead and end this out. I have been your host, Darien Henderson. That's been my guest. And we're going to get out of here. All right. Wait. I always forget him.
He's very well. I want to get him after that terrible review he is.
Yeah. Hold on a second. CB, come here. He's coming. Hang on. All right. Say goodbye, CB. Okay, you got a mouth on you, boy. Go back in there. Leave.
Whoa.
All right.
Language, man.
I know. Come on. All right. Well, he's still talking over there. Listen to him. Man, you kiss your motherboard with that mouth?
Oh my god. Okay, for real, that was really terrible.
I know. All right. I'm gonna get out of here before I get shot at. All right. All right. Guess we're gonna head out of here. Bye, guys.
Bye.